Hello, ActiveSage here on the Sage channel, and my new thruster is finally finished. Now, I've dubbed this thruster the industrial thruster because it's got a lot of sharp edges to it, and it sort of has this robust industrial look to it. And right away you'll notice that the front of it, or I guess the back of it, whichever one you want to call this, the exhaust port where the flames come out of, is pretty big compared to your normal thruster. If I was to switch up and go ahead and try to place one down, you can see the size overall of this thing is a fair bit bigger. Now the thrust compared to the original is also back farther than it would be, and you can see that around this thruster area here, unlike the original where it has this nice slanted thing here where it's got actually a bit of a curve to it and it's got a nice little burnt up detail and these big metal plates, I have these tiny, almost like stretched hex grid plates, except for they're actually textured like that. I didn't actually stretch the textures. Now there's a slight bit of warping, as I'm sure you noticed on this side here. I'm not sure, I might get around to fixing that in the future, but for now, just assume the metal's been bent a bit to get it into shape, which basically it has been, because as you can see, there's a slight narrowing each time these panels come out. So they're actually bent at the top slightly to make it thinner at the exhaust port end here than it is when the flames first originate. And it's a pretty nice engine. You can see I have a lot of these metal panel things here, almost as if they are coolant of some sort, and then along the bottom here I have a few support beam things here. I'll show you those more in a minute. The texturing on it, as you can see, has these nice metal plates all over it, and a few seams here and there. I hope you will forgive those. In the future I may sort them out, but for now I think it's pretty good. And you can see the back of it here also has its own little section here. It's pretty cool, it's pretty nice, I'm pretty happy with it overall. And it does actually have build states, which means it is survival ready. So you can see here, this is a stage below the fully complete one, where it's basically missing a lot of that gridding and paneling. And you can see at the front, it's actually missing one of those bits of metal that comes shooting out. And you can see a bit closer into here and actually see where the thrust is being produced in this shiny little machine in there. Coming down further, you can see this is actually the highest poly version out of all of them. This is the middle level of the construction, and you can see it's got its big pipe down the middle. It's got some of these sort of gas storage things here, or whatever you want to imagine they are, and it's overall pretty nice. I like the metal framework and the idea of having stuff in the middle. I probably would have kept going farther, but this is around 2,000 polys, so I sort of didn't want to push it too much farther than that. And then we move down to this one here, and you see another thruster for comparison. That only showed up because I had mirroring on when I placed that original one. Let's get rid of that. There you go. You can see it is just a simple frame, and the front and back of it, of course, are held together with these little metal bars that go across. Unfortunately, even though I created a collision mesh that should allow you to pass through these large open areas here, you cannot. So currently the collision mesh for all of these is pretty much a big square, with the exception of the further down the line ones, which actually do have some slants so you can get closer to the front of it without it just being a big square. I can show you that by doing Alt-Shift F12, bring up our collision volumes, and you can see there is some slantedness here to allow you to go closer to the actual flames. And this one is very, very sharp, and you see it sort of curves in, so you shouldn't be having too much collision. It bumps out a bit farther, so be warned if you're taking a tight turn and this engine looks like it's about to hit by a foot or two, it probably will actually hit. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn that off, and that's that for the basic look at it. I do actually have a few more over here, and two of these are actually to show that you can indeed color these in to whichever color you like. I have a red, blue, whatever you like. Just press the P button, go ahead, grab the color you want to color it, and middle mouse as per usual, and you can see the whole thing just colors in. Pretty nice. I'm very happy with how that worked out, and the fact that you can still see the nice metal plates is pretty nice. And I guess a bit of a glare, it's pretty shiny metal. Also, here we go is one upside down. Of course, you can place these however way you like, so if you like it better looking like this, you can. And it has, you can see, a metal support beam sort of going across here. That way, if I do bring the collision mesh back on, you can see it sort of explains why you wouldn't be able to just fly through what would otherwise just be an open area right there. It's pretty nice though. I'm very, very happy with this engine overall, or thruster I guess. And I'm very happy with it. I might tweak it in the future. I probably will, to fix a few issues like the metal warping a bit. And I do actually plan to make a few more variants of it and make it available for small ships. But right now this is only for large ships. Now, I actually have a control panel here with a few of these lifted up, so I can actually show you what it looks like when I turn them on. So I'm going to go ahead and press that button, and there you go. You can see the lighting sort of glitches through the bottom there. Not exactly sure how to fix that. I have pretty much no clue, but you can see these are pretty monstrous thrusters. They actually have 3 of the usual little thruster things that you would find in a normal thruster stuck in there to sort of give them the taller view, because I couldn't find a way to easily warp that. And I felt if I used a custom texture for that, I first off wasn't exactly sure, but I was also pretty sure that it would not exactly lined up and down with the thruster, but it was lined up and down with your actual screen, because I'm pretty sure the textures probably rotate in there when you rotate your camera. So I ended up just going with 3 of those, and I think the effect looks pretty good, especially from this angle right here. It looks pretty much brilliant, and I'm very happy with that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just leave those on, because I don't think they're going to cause us any trouble, but over here I have a test comparison. Now, this thruster is about 3 times as powerful as your standard thruster here. So if I was to go ahead and hop in here and turn this on, and I believe it's actually, there we go. So let's go ahead and turn that on, and you can see it's starting to go. Oh, actually it just shut off. My bad. Sorry, let me try that again. So if I turn that on, you can see it's starting to go pretty quick, right? Now let's go ahead and hop in this one and see how quickly that one goes off. So let's hop in there. Select our large thruster, large industrial thruster is actually what it's called. Turn that on, and you can see it's accelerating a whole lot faster. And in fact, I don't think it'll catch up with the original one, but it might get a little bit closer. Let's go out there and zoom in on it. Yeah, it looks like they probably both reached max speed, so it'll never catch it, but it took it, you can see, yeah, that one definitely sped up a lot quicker. Anyway, I do like the way it looks just zipping through space like that. By the way, as it gets farther away, it does have LOD, so it will take up less and less polygons and hopefully not lag you out too much. Anyway, let's go back into our actual suit and buzz back down there. And I do have one last thing to show you guys, which is a sort of demonstration on how you could install these into ships. Now, as I'm flying, you're probably noticing a lot of glowing lights there. For some odd reason, it seems like as you're farther away you get, maybe the larger the sort of thruster things get, the actual bits of the thrusters, you can see they're fading into the walls of these thrusters. So the glowing part at the start of the thruster actually seems to expand the farther away you get, so you get this nasty thing where it's clipping through the sides of the engine. I have no idea at all how to fix that right now, so we're just going to have to suffer with that. Hopefully I'll figure some way around that in the future, or maybe it's actually something to do on the dev side where for some reason it gets larger the farther away you get based on maybe it's trying to keep the same screen size. I'm not exactly sure. It's not exactly my cup of tea. I'm more of the modeling department. Anyway, this is sort of to show you how you could install these into a ship. One of the basic designs is the idea that you might have these tiered, so you could have huge setups like this. You could very easily have these in engine nacelles, which is one of the reasons I wanted this engine, because you can't have engines behind engines anymore. I wanted something very powerful that takes up a lot of space from front to back. That way you could have a nice thin nacelles or something stuck to the end of your ship. Of course, you could also go ahead and take these, and if you want to place them down, let's actually go back to color gray. So, whoop, color gray. And if you want to place these down like so, you could do so very easily. And the mirroring does work on these, so you can see how interesting they might look if they were like that, and maybe even closer together. So a lot of coolness with that. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a test flight on this little ship here. Pretty simple structure, slash ship. And we'll fire the engines up, and you can see pretty quickly we start moving. I'm very happy with these engines overall, and I actually have one for up and down. The side engines are just the bag standard engines, but you can see very quickly we reached max speed, and if we turn this around you can see the engines firing like crazy to try to slow us down. It's pretty cool. I'm very happy with these engines overall. I keep calling them engines, technically they're thrusters. I'm sure as you also noticed here, where you can see the normal thrusters, they have their own slightly more teal color to them. I might tweak that in the future, but for now I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway guys, that's it. That's these thrusters. I'm overall very pleased with them. I'm going to continue tweaking them in the future. I'll probably end up coming with a version for small ships in the future. I have to figure out how to make that work so that they won't actually, what's the word? So they'll actually work from the same button just as large thrusters. And what I mean by that is basically, you know, for a large thruster, you can aim at a large ship, it'll paste a large engine on a large ship. You aim at a small ship, it'll paste a large engine but on a small ship. I want the same thing to work with this one button here, which by the way you can reach by just scrolling down here and it'll be right there. No select special block thing on the left here. I'll probably end up adding that in the future when I get multiple versions of this, because I'm also having maybe one that doesn't have the slant as this one has, but more of a dip in the middle. So instead of it slanting downwards from the top to the bottom left, sort of like that, it'll actually just go whoop down to the middle and then whoop back out. So you could possibly have 3 of these engines lined up, 2 slants on the edges and 1 sort of whoop in the middle. Pretty cool. That's my plan right now. So in the future, hopefully I'll have those. No ETA on that though. I am sorry for that. Anyway guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you like this engine. It's up on the Steam Workshop. If you want to go ahead and grab it, you can. So that's it. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.